Did Jaws take more than 14 days?
Yeah, so 14 days with a wrap party. It was about the length of the wrap party for that film. We were so happy to get off Martha's Vineyard.
I asked innocently.
155 days, actually.
Was that a record for you at that point?
It was a record for a lot of people, here and abroad. Yeah.
I was on Martha's Vineyard.
I saw
doing
you
a
on Martha's
show
Vineyard with Robert Shaw.
Yeah, and I was doing a thing with Walter Cronkite. That's what. And I talked about Jaws being made, and I went over there and I ran into Shaw, whom I also did a show with. He was in trouble because if he worked much longer, he would lose his, whatever it is, the complicated thing with taxes and so on, where he stayed in the country too long.
He put all his money in Ireland, and he didn't pay taxes, British taxes. But if he stayed too long in America, everything we paid him for Jaws would go to the IRS. And he was, every day he would remind me that he could only be there one more week, and we were only in our 40th day of shooting. And he was saying, if I'm here one more week, I lose all of my salary. And in fact, he lost about 3/4 of the money to the IRS because he overstayed his legal welcome.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but I had an image of you, which I'll never forget.
Oh, please tell me. I love those.
You were you came to visit Robert and Walter Cronkite, and you were standing on one of the picture boats watching.
Yes.
And you had a little parka on, you had a little scarf on, and you were standing there all by yourself.
A little one, not mine?
No, it was... And the whole crew was watching you with great envy, and I was wondering why the crew was staring at you. And certainly they recognized you as being who you are, but then I began to look into their eyes and I realized that you got to go home that night. And everybody else had to stay for 6 more months.
It was like someone visiting a prison.
A prison, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. How did you deal with that psychology? I mean, everybody with that burden on them must have.
We had people crack up. We really had people crack up. We had our gaffer, our lighting gaffer, go a little crazy, and he began wearing his baseball cap backwards, and he got a bullhorn, electric bullhorn, and began narrating the making of the movie, sitting on a small stepladder on a pitching and rolling boat, without just narrating who was coming aboard and who was doing this and who was making a mistake and picking up a plant, which is another union. You're not supposed to pick up a plant if you're a carpenter.
Yeah.
And
too much pressure.
Too much pressure. We had people go back to L.A. With their eyes swimming.
Well, of course, the old-timers were saying, boy, these smart-ass people from Hollywood, they didn't even know about tides.
They're right. Yeah, the Coast Guard also came over one day in a helicopter with a bullhorn, laughing over the bullhorn. They keyed the mic and began to laugh, and we had to endure that for 5 minutes.
What were the... Did you get it on tape? What were the natural wonders and phenomena that you didn't know about? Besides tides and sky, I guess, were the things.
Well, the one natural phenomenon that none of us had any idea was that we couldn't walk on the water. We all assumed that we could get out to the ocean. It would be like working on dry land, or at worst, like on shallow jello.
Yeah.
And it turned out that when you've got your boats in the water and the wind starts to blow, all the anchors move. And when you're all set for a shot, there's a camera boat and there's a lighting boat with a generator, and there's the picture boat with the actors on it. And when the wind began to blow, each boat would move in a different direction, usually away from the center. And I often was shooting a horizon line, where before there was Scheider, Dreyfuss, and Shaw, there was nothing but a horizon. And it was chaos. It was total chaos. None of us, we should have really cooperated with the Coast Guard and let them show us how to make the movie, because none of us were seaworthy.
That would have saved a month, maybe, or something?
It would have saved a few weeks. The shark not working is what cost most of the time.
Well, the mechanical
shark never
not
worked.
working. I thought you meant that a live shark went on strike.
No.
It's about the only union that hasn't.
No. Brian De Palma, who came to the location once to visit me and left the very next day, went back and told all his friends his impression. He saw the first test of the shark, and he went back to New York, and he said, words won't describe it. And he made a hand gesture. He said, this was the first test of the shark. And the jaws open like this, and then I say, okay, close the jaws, and it's like so. And,
I hate a slack-jawed shark.
Yeah, me too. 6 months of this.
But how do you ever get a shot from when the camera's on one boat and the actors are on another, unless it's dead calm, because the camera's always going to be moving?
Well, actually, that adds to the excitement. That's very good. If it's dead calm, or if the camera's too locked down to the boat, you don't have a feeling that you're on the water. It could even look like a process shot, like a rear projection effect.
So a little movement.
So a little movement is great. As a matter of fact, the man
Yeah.
who photographed Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, Michael Chapman, was the camera operator on Jaws, and he's an extraordinary operator. He handheld 70% of the movie just to keep some movement in the frame and still maintain a flat horizon line.
Would you ever do that on land? Put a little movement in just to get a little Or would it have to be explained by being on water?
No, I haven't made my personal movie yet. That's a personal movie effect right there. Is when
Ah.
you walk into a room with a camera and it's all sort of verite. But I've
Yeah.
always been a little more slick in terms of on land wanting to lock the camera down and essentially standardize most of the movements.